Hey everyone, welcome to our International Women's Day special episode. Today we have leaders of GirlUp Unnathi from Bangalore, India. GirlUp is a global organization which has been conceptualized and championed by the United Nations. They are present in more than 130 countries. Their motto is When girls rise, we all rise. They are a movement to advance girls' skills, rights, and opportunities to be leaders. This International Women's Day 2022 has the theme Break the Bias, and it highlights the key message gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow. We present to you GirlUp Unnathi. Thank you so much for being a part of this episode. I'm so glad you all took time out of your busy schedules to make it today. First up, we have the president of the club, Ananya Trivedi. Hi, Ananya. So,
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Ananya. I'm a now 12th grade student, I guess, doing science, and I sing, I dance, I play guitar and keyboard. I love to read. I love to draw, and I do a lot of artistic things.
What made you start GirlUp
Okay.
Unnathi? Because you're the one who initiated it.
So essentially, like, there were a lot of small things that kind of led up to me starting GirlUp Unnathi. So I was in the 10th grade, and we were in lockdown. I was at home and I was looking for things to do because school was one thing, but apart from that, like, everything else had stopped. And I was just thinking, okay, what can I do now? So I started looking up at a lot of things that I could do. And I came across a lot of these feminist accounts. And I don't know how that happened, but coincidentally, I just ended up reading a lot about gender inequality uh, during the time. And that made me realize that, there are so many small things in my life itself uh, that kind of that came to me at the time, and it made me realize, wait, I've been facing this for so many years. So there were a lot of things, like, as a kid I was given Barbie dolls to play with. My room was painted pink. I was not by anyone, but just personally, I never played a sport like football because it was reserved for boys or something like that. And these things, they're just inherently in our minds because society just puts it that way. And that made me realize, why haven't I thought about this before? Even though we don't, like, people of our age, people like me, we don't feel the bigger effects of gender inequality because we um, belong to, like, educated, well-to-do families, but we experience it in small ways, and that's still really disappointing. So we're living in a time where development is happening at such a fast pace, and you have tech advancements, scientific breakthroughs almost every day. We were faced with a pandemic, and the world was prepared for it in a way no one else thought would be possible. And but we as humans aren't even able to face one of the oldest social issues of gender inequality. So as I said, I came across a lot of feminist accounts, and I think someone forwarded it, GirlUp's website to me and said, "Oh, this is something you should check out." And I saw the website, and I'm like, "Okay, this is something I have to start." I realized they have a clubs program that anyone can join, anyone can start a club, and I'm like, "Okay, let's do this." So that's how it happened. And
Awesome.
now we have a team of, we have like 30 members and a core team of like 11 people. And I love my team, and we're all doing so much. And it feels so good to think about where I began.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about what role you play in GirlUp Unnathi?
Okay, so as the president and founder of GirlUp Unnathi, I'm, at the point, we're not a big organization. We're just starting small, doing small things. So each of us kind of almost do everything. So as a president, I don't have a designated role, but I, organize meetings and, connect with my team, and we're just doing a lot. And yeah, as I mentioned, it's a small team, and just everyone's doing everything.
So you're roping everyone together and holding it together.
Hmm. But I mean, my team plays a major role. These guys do so much. It's incredible.
Okay, so I'll call up the next person, Shibangi, who's the vice president of GirlUp Unnathi. Hi.
Hi.
So can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Shivangi, a 17-year-old science enthusiast from India. My pronouns are she, her. I'm an avid debater, basketball player, and a physics geek. I feel very strongly about the feminist movement and can't wait to collaborate with all of you to bring about tangible change in our society, which I believe stems from our own homes.
What made you join GirlUp?
The reason I joined Girl Up Unity is, to quote fancy words, have a platform to voice my opinions, be taken seriously, and advocate for change. But there were a lot of small things that happened in daily life, like being treated unfairly at home, at school, or just the assumption that there are things I can't do just because I'm a girl, that led me to be a very strong supporter of the feminist movement. I wanted to see tangible change in the way society still perceives girls, even if it was just around me. These disparities became even more pronounced when I noticed that the girl boy ratio in my class was computer science class was just about 1 is to 3. This just points to how much change actually has been brought about in the way society still perceives gender roles. What was particularly unnerving to me was having my teachers literally tell me that girls can't do numericals, or not never taking us seriously, never looking to us for answers to questions in class. And I feel it's very, very important that everyone be a feminist for us to see actual change and bring about a safe society that is conducive to our growth and development.
Yeah, that must be really hard having teachers tell that to you. And I could see the raw emotion in what you said and what you've gone through. And yeah, I'm so glad that you can find a platform like Girl Up to voice your opinions and to bring about change.
It's been wonderful. Ananya, everyone has been so welcoming and just a positive environment to voice your opinion. Very, very nice.
Wow. Can you tell us about your role in Girl Up Unnathi?
All right. I'm the vice president. Essentially, what the logistics team do, which is what I'm a part of, is organize emails, divide members into groups, and handle all the technical issues behind the scenes. But I've also hosted webinars with Ananya, coordinated with people to come and talk in our webinars, spread awareness, and try to get people personally reach out to people to join Girl Up Unity. What we're essentially trying to do as we grow is to sort things out so every member is part of a specific team that performs a specific task. Uh, right now, as Ananya mentioned, we're not that organized, but we're trying to scale up and meticulously divide everything, all the work among members.
So these are your initial days.
Yep.
Nice. So next I would like to call Janvi, who is the treasurer of Girl Up Unnathi. Hi Janvi.
Hi. Uh,
So
sorry,
can you
start.
tell us a bit about yourself?
I'm Janvi and I'm a class 12 student. Uh, and I took the stream commerce. And yeah, that's all. And for why I joined GirlUp Unnathi, it was so basically during last year, 2021, I came across it through Ananya. She put up a message and telling about what she wants to do and about all that. And then it really fascinated me by how things are done there, and like going through the website and about how enthusiastic people were about it. I really wanted to try it out.
And what is your role in Girl Up?
So as of now, the treasurer doesn't really have that much of a role, but most of my time goes into other stuff like helping most of the other members currently.
Okay, so next we have Saina, who's the event manager of GirlUp Unnathi.
Hi everyone, my name is Saina and I am, as Manaswini said, the event manager for GirlUp.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I am also 17 years old and I'm in 12th grade. And I'm also a science student, and science has always fascinated me. I've always wanted to be a woman in STEM, particularly for aerospace science and astrophysics. And I love to read and I love to dance, and I like to do art as well. I spend a lot of my time doing art and looking up small things on the internet just to copy and paint. So yeah.
We have a lot of artists here today. I think most of the people over here all love doing artistic stuff. And can you tell us why you joined GirlUp Unnathi?
Yeah, like everyone else said, I was also looking for something, a feminist movement to join, something so I could be heard, a platform where I could be heard from, something where I could contribute to, even if it's in the smallest way possible. I still wanted to give back to society and show them that we, even as young girls, have something to give. We have something to show for ourselves. So that's why I joined GirlUp.
Awesome. And what role do you play in GirlUp Unnathi?
Right. So I am the event manager, and obviously that means I plan all the events. And but it's not just me. I have a huge team of 16, and I have all the help from my leadership board as well. And as of yet, we have nothing planned, but in the upcoming months, I can assure you we have a lot of fun stuff coming up, and it's going to be super exciting. So yeah,
Excited for it.
yeah.
And I've seen you guys have an Instagram handle and you have live streaming and stuff. So are you the one who manages all that?
I personally, by myself, do not organize those. I do play a small part, maybe, but it's more of the offline events that I plan with my team. So, yeah.
Okay. Next we have Adya, who's the content head. Hi Adya.
Hi,
So can you introduce yourself?
sure. Hi everyone, I'm Adya. I'm the content head of GirlUp Unnathi.
And what's the reason behind joining GirlUp Unnathi?
I think we've all grown up amidst so many gender stereotypes and taboos, especially in conservative Indian societies. I think an epiphany about progress in the aforementioned spheres is long time coming. Seeing what girl up organizations around the world stand for in terms of a better society for women, gender equality, and advocating mental health, I was very eager to be a part of the feminist movement. Girl Up Unnati seemed like a perfect window to do my part in this movement, and my time in the club has been so enlightening since.
That's great to hear. And what role do you play in GirlUp Unnathi?
I am the content head along with Pramati, and together we curate content for all the posts and stories that we post on our Instagram.
Yeah, and even I saw on your Instagram account, you guys have really creative and artistic stuff which you guys have put up, and pass on the compliments to everyone who has worked on that. It looks amazing.
That's true.
Oh, that's
Since a lot of
Tanisha, our
research,
design head.
yeah, and
She
since a
does a
lot
great
of,
job
lot
with
of
design.
research goes into all of these posts, we're always learning a lot too. So it's great.
Wow. And not only the aesthetics, even the messaging you guys put it across, the way you do it, it's just splendid. It's amazing. I even took one of the quotes which you guys put up in your Instagram account by Serena Williams. The success of every woman should be the inspiration to another. We should raise each other up. I think that's what we're all here to do. We are all here to inspire people and so that they can stand up for themselves and break the bias. That's what the brick wall represents, breaking the bias. Shivangi, can you tell us about the goals of Girl Up Unnati?
Yeah. All right. So our primary aim is to achieve three things: engagement, awareness, and advocacy. Engagement is giving young girls the opportunity to raise their voice and be heard, actually be a part of a movement that recognizes there are things we can do and we are actively working towards doing them. Awareness is how we stress the importance of what we are doing to the people around us, and we do this through events, webinars, content on our Instagram pages, just spreading the word and urging people to be a part of this movement. And finally, advocacy is telling people what exactly the feminist movement is, how they could support it, what are current problems with the way women are treated in the status quo, how do we counter them, are there any ways we can make the environment more equitable even in our own homes, stuff like that. So what we want to do is just have a conducive environment for everyone to be able to grow and voice their opinions. And we also want to ensure that we change people's minds or just let them know that there's something wrong with the way things are today. And if there's something we could do about it, we should do it now. And how could you go about it? For example, joining the club would be a major step because you're taking that initiative because you recognize there's something wrong and you're willing to work towards it. So, initially, right now at the grassroots level, we just want to increase awareness and engage as many people as possible in our movement.
I like it. It's really simple and concise. Engagement, awareness, and advocacy. And for each of these, what are the metrics you have, if any?
Okay, so yeah, fine. I think there are two types of metrics, tangible ones and intangible ones. Tangible ones would be like the number of members in our club currently, right? Obviously, the more number of members we have, the more impact we have, the more people are involved in our cause. Intangible metrics would be changing the mind of a single person, or like having a person come to us and tell us that what we did supported them, help them understand their place, and take comfort in the fact that there are other people who are going through the same thing that they are, or just provide some sort of upliftment to them that they can believe that they deserve to be heard and eventually will be heard. So right now we are at 30 members, which I feel is phenomenal growth since we first started. Uh, what we'd like to improve on would be having more members attend meetings, participate actively, which is still there right now, but we'd like to see a much greater involvement in participation and general willingness to attend meetings and enthusiasm displayed overall. So yeah.
So, what does one need to do to be a member of GirlUp Unnati?
All right. To be a part of GirlUp Unnathi, the first thing you need to do is register with our club. You can find the link to the document on our Instagram page, which we'll link down below, I think. Right. So by being a part of GirlUp Unnathi, you commit to attending a meeting every 2 weeks or sometimes once a week. You commit to being a part of a team, either the content team, the design team, the events planning team, and do your bit. And lastly, you also resonate with our cause and you believe that you can contribute to what we're doing. And we encourage all of you who are listening to have a look at our page, and if you feel this is something you'd consider doing in the future, definitely fill out our form. It's a great opportunity.
Yes, I agree. I also encourage everyone who is watching to check it out and join GirlUp if it interests them. Okay, so the next question is directed to Janvi. What biases are we here to break? So I'll just preface you on the context of this question. So this question is specific to people and women in Bangalore. So Bangalore is the Silicon Valley of India and is the home to so many startups. And there are women in tech, women in startups, women in sports, medicine, research and development. And we seem to have it all, right? So what kind of biases are women experiencing in a metro city like Bangalore, and how is GirlUp Unnati breaking those?
So the biases that are very common and still persist surprisingly are wage gap, or like women are paid lesser for the same job as men, and there's just more expectations from women dealing inside the household and not encouraging them going into STEM, or as Ananya likes to reference it, or the way we all are supposed to reference it as STEAM, which adds even arts part of it. And there are very little women encouraged to get into these fields, and even today, women are like denied opportunities most of the time, especially mostly it's found in rural areas, but we can't tell it does not exist in the urban areas as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. You said that even in urban areas, women experience bias. Like even if it's not on a larger on some things that are deemed very important, even small things like people commenting on the way you sit, saying only boys should sit this way, commenting on your clothes, only men can dress this way, and so on. Um, or whether it's only boys should like this color or girls should like this color, only guys should play with cars. And I think even in urban areas we experience bias. I've myself heard many of these sayings, and these are all like deep rooted in our Indian society. People experience such things. Shivangi, can you elaborate more on this question?
Oh, all right, yeah. So there are three main categories of biases as I see it. Uh, at the topmost level, these are the most prominent ones that are usually identified and targeted by government schemes that are implemented. So this looks like not being appreciated or trusted at work just by virtue of being a woman, being given different treatment. The wage gap, as Janvi mentioned, is very prominent and has to be addressed. Second ones are the ones that we experience but we don't say much about, but are significant and can shape a lot of mindsets. These happen at school. This looks like significantly lesser participation of girls in science, not having girl football teams. This is not always the case, but this is just something I've experienced in my school days. And the uniform restrictions, especially on girls, the kinds of clothes they are allowed to wear on an occasion, and the harsh restrictions on their hair, nails, just everything about it seems a little too radical. And lastly, these are the more preliminary biases that stem from our own homes, where, particularly in underdeveloped regions, but traces of these could also be found in our own homes even today. Being told what to wear, being told that being educated as a girl is a privilege, and just what we see every day, inequitable distribution of domestic chores, and how in most cases, like in 99% of all percent of cases, the woman has to work, cook, manage her job, and cater to the needs of everyone. These are particularly glaring biases we find in society today.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. We can see it all around us. And to add on to what you said, in an interview, when the fact that whether a woman is married or unmarried makes a difference, and that shouldn't be the case, and pregnant women are generally not taken to be a part of large projects, and these biases exist sadly, and that's why we all need to raise our voice and talk about it so that we can help to break the bias. And another thing that I wanted to talk about is that even as you said at schools, children, they are very young and they have impressionable minds. So the way the teachers act and the way they deal with issues makes a huge difference on how gender roles are viewed. I can give you an example. So last year in my sister's class, during her online class, their teacher was talking about scouts and guides and how when she was a guide, they would have to pitch tents and then collect flowers to decorate the tents. So one of the kids there, one boy, he asked the teacher, so does this mean boys collect tiger skin and girls collect flowers? And then the class started laughing, and my sister was taken aback. And the teacher, before this could escalate any further, she immediately jumped in and then she said, first of all, that is animal cruelty. And second of all, there is no such thing that girls need to be softer or less stronger or anything like that. And there's no such thing that girls need to do this, boys need to do this. So that way, as a teacher, she helped the children to understand at the grassroots level that such biases should not be encouraged, and that girls and boys are equal, and they're equally capable of being able to do any of the things.
I
Do
have a
any of
point to
Yeah,
add here. Can I?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, actually, adding on to what you said, growing up in schools, we were not taught anything about the LGBTQIA community. And, I mean, I didn't even know it existed until the fifth or sixth grade, which is really sad. And I do not like that that happened. And I have a younger cousin brother, and I see that in his school, like they're teaching him that same-sex marriage is okay and it's valid, and it's really nice to see how we're progressing from that.
Definitely. Ananya, would you like to further elaborate on the bias that women experience, like pink tax? Giving an example, there are like shaving razors, which are exactly the same, but they're priced higher for women. So, can you elaborate on that?
Right. So another issue that we really need to break is the big tax. And, it's the fact that women's products or products aimed at women are priced higher, even if they're the same as something aimed at men. Like you said, shaving razors, even women's self care products, hygiene, sanitary napkins and whatnot are all just priced higher. Like, why do we need to pay more for these things just because we're women and we need them? So I feel like that's something that isn't addressed as much as it should be, which is really disappointing. So we're aiming to, shift our society to kind of change that. Another thing, okay, bias in design. So, GirlUp India actually organized a boot camp on bias in design, and that happened yesterday. So, we learned a lot, and it was something that I didn't know actually existed, and it was pretty cool to learn about it. So, it's that things are not designed keeping women in mind. So I think an example that they took, which was really cool, were like car seats and just cars in general, and like seat belts are not built for like pregnant women, and they're not friendly for that. Seats are like too much, like women are shorter than men, so like you have to bring the seat forward to reach the pedals and the steering wheel. And in that case, if you meet with an accident, then the airbags come right in your face, which is not built for women. Headphones, just day-to-day things, musical instruments. I play guitar, and it's so hard to hold a guitar as a woman. And it's really sad that I mean, I actually read about it yesterday, and the first like female friendly guitar was actually built by a guitarist, and she actually did that a couple of years ago. So but stuff like that, so that would be bias in design, so which is something we need to work towards. So apparently women aren't considered when testing objects, when building products, and most products cater to the average white male, which is really sad. So yeah.
Yeah, I play guitar too, so I can relate to what you were talking about. It is difficult to play and hold it for long periods of time, especially. Okay. So, Saina, can you tell us about what you feel about this topic and what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I also attended the Girl Up India Bias on Design STEM boot camp yesterday, and it was very insightful, super interesting. And again, the same examples that they brought up. And I just think it's so unfair that even after centuries and millennia, we're still stuck at this same issue, which should have been solved ages ago. And I think that having women in positions of power, same as men, same pay, no gender pay gap, would definitely help to increase the gender bias design. It would help to break that. It would help to cut the stigma, and that's one thing. And just generally advocating on the streets, protesting, safe protests and silent protests even, would definitely help the movement. And pink tax is also something that should have been abolished years ago. And I do not understand actually the need for having women's products priced higher, especially sanitary napkins and tampons. Is when we need them, they're absolutely necessary. And I do not understand why we have to pay more for it just because we're women. And that is just stemming from, like Shivangi said, from our own homes, from men in power, like the average white male. They don't understand. They don't get that we need those products. We need products, and still they're making us pay a higher price for that. So, yeah, those are my views.
Yes, absolutely. Adya, can you pitch in and tell us what are your thoughts on this topic in general?
I think everyone's examples are great and very relevant because we've all grown up in similar societies. We've all had problems with gender stereotypes. An example I found really interesting is very day to day. Kinder Joy has these Kinder Surprise eggs, and they have for boys and for girls. And I think not too long ago, a lot of people were lobbying to ban these eggs because it promotes the gender bias even more, and that too at a grassroots level where children are slowly forming their identity. If you introduce such biases, then it's obviously affecting it. And I think it should be eradicated in the grassroots level itself so that growing up they can be who they want to be. So that's an example. I think it should really work out well for the banning of Kinder Joy.
So, you all told about what are the biases that we're here to break. So, what future do you envision beyond breaking these biases?
Right. So there are a lot of positives that we can envision with a society where biases aren't prevalent. These are some of the few. A more accepting society for women, as a lot of the biases curb women from doing what they actually wish to do. In workplaces, more potential can be tapped if women are freely allowed to achieve their potential and be paid in par with their worth. Classrooms being more inclusive and not shying away from ensuring students are kept in the light when it comes to gender equality, respecting females and the LGBTQ community, and also same sex marriage. Less room for insecurities can be caused by eradicating public opinions, taboos of menstruation and sex education being eradicated, and more support being extended in terms of all things related to abortion, pregnancy, and reproductive education. Clothing stores promoting more unisex apparel, children being able to form more coherent identities for themselves with no scope for being pigeonholed. For example, several people are lobbying for the banning of Kinder Joy, as was mentioned earlier. Just generally, a safer and more progressive society for women will be found when biases are broken and women are acknowledged, accepted, and allowed to grow. These are just a few pros to a future where biases are broken, and that's proof enough that this must be achieved in the near future.
Yeah, especially the part where you spoke about gender neutral products. Yesterday, no, day before yesterday, we had this business proposal event, and my friend and I, we actually proposed gender neutral makeup products, especially in India, because I don't think there's any prominent brands that offer it. And I think that would be a great move to bring about gender equality. Does anyone else have any points to add on to this?
I just have one point. Okay. I think, I mean, Adya covered most of them, and having a society like that would just be literally the best place to live in. Um, I think one major thing is, I mean, she mentioned Kinder Joy, so adding to that, like toys, and like as a kid, I don't really remember ever being gifted a car or like a STEM project game or something like that. Like I was always given like Barbie dolls and kitchen sets and things like that, and stuffed toys. So looking at that, I wish people would be more inclusive, and there would be, no bias there, and girls would be gifted such things as well. And, more gender inclusive toys. Yeah. So that kids can grow up in an environment where they can be whatever they want to be. They don't have to think, okay, I'm a girl, so I should be doing this.
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree with you. I think as a kid, so when we had these projects or we had these fancy dress days and stuff, and when they would ask us, what do you want to be when you grow up and stuff like that, I would be inclined to say, yeah, I want to be a nurse, as opposed to, I want to be a doctor. Because traditionally, if you see, doctors are usually men and nurses are usually women, in like, at least during that time when I was younger. I don't know how much change has come about right now. I think it's just fractional amount compared to what we would expect it to be, considering the number of years that have passed, a decade almost. So yeah, I think you're right. So imbibing from a younger age that you can be whatever you want to be without being gender specific when it comes to the toys or clothes or whatever it is, I think that will help broaden their vision as to they can do whatever they want in the future. And there's no barrier for them because of their gender. Does anyone else have anything to add on to this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that we are talking about, how young girls should also be encouraged to take up STEM projects and play with cars and other things that aren't stereotypically meant for women. But I also feel that girls, if they want to play with those Barbie dolls and have a pink room, I think that should also be okay. It shouldn't be labeled as, oh, you're a girl, so you should do this. But it's okay if you do that. That's totally okay. So that's also something I felt that was worth mentioning. So.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. People should be free to do what they feel like doing. And I think breaking the bias, in a sense, gives people more freedom. So I think it's equivalent to giving people freedoms, like breaking free of the shackles of whatever is binding you, whatever traditional stereotypes are binding you, and breaking the bias is like giving more freedom to all genders. Does anyone else have anything to add on?
Okay, so basically, there's a very high rise of awareness amongst people about the pink tax recently, and it's because of many people talking about it. And also, as Ananya mentioned earlier, the cars were mainly used, like were mainly tested with male dummies, but recently they started testing it with women as well. So that's a step forward. I just wanted to share that.
Awesome. That's great to hear that people are progressing. Things are progressing. Shivangi, what do you have to share about this?
Yeah, I'd just like to add that while we recognize that we're all hoping to envision a future in which there's equality, we must also recognize that it just doesn't mean giving same opportunities. It means elevating women to be in a position to compete fairly with men. This doesn't just mean that you have 50 seats for women, 50 for men. This is understanding that women are structurally intrinsically inherently disadvantaged, and we need to have provisions in place to secure their future, and like have some sort of a reservation policy, anything that actively promotes them to take part in these events and not just equating everything that comes in our way. So we also must recognize that we are different in some ways. We're biologically different. We have been disenfranchised for a long time, and there are things that are different, and we have to keep those in mind while stipulating policies or just anything in the future. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, exactly. Right now it's about equity. So there's this picture, you can picture it. There are three people. This picture aptly describes equity. So there's a person who's really tall, and there's a person who's of medium height, and there's a really short person, and there are three boxes. So there's a wall, and they are trying to look at what's going on behind the wall, and they're trying to see what's happening there. So equality will be giving each of them one box, but the shortest person may not be able to see what is happening on the other side of the wall. And equity will be giving the shortest person two boxes and the person of medium height one box, so that all of them are able to see what is happening on the other side. So you put it beautifully, and you beautifully explained how equity is essentially extremely important, and 100% agree with that.
Thank you.
That was a great way to explain equality and equity.
Thank you. That picture is just like always has stuck with me ever since I saw it. Being a part of GirlUp must take a lot of time and resources for all of you. So, what role does your family play in supporting you in this? Let's start with Saina.
Right. So I never saw Girl Up as something to do, like a work, like a chore. I always wanted to do it. I took joy out of doing it, and I found it so I don't know how to say it, but it was just so enjoyable. I liked doing the research and the work that I was supposed to do. I didn't find it tiresome at all. And my family has been super supportive. They say that it's great that you're doing so much stuff for the society, so much stuff for you as a woman, empowering yourself, empowering those around you, helping other girls come in and showing them that this is what we're doing and this is how you can help. So, yeah, it's been great. I love it.
That's amazing to hear. Janvi, can you tell us about how your family has supported you?
Yeah, they really love what I'm doing because it's truly out of my comfort zone, and mostly I have a hard time talking to people, and this really helps me network with people and help people out through this. So they're really supportive about it.
That's great. There's a saying, seek discomfort, and there's growth in struggle. So I think by putting yourself out there, you're really helping yourself and you're also helping other people to shape their lives and to become a better person. Awesome. Adya, can you tell us about how your family is supporting you?
Same as everyone, my family's been really supportive as well. And when I told them I'm joining Girl Up, they were like, that's a great thing to do. And they've heard about the Girl Up organizations. And my dad follows the GirlUp Unnathi Instagram page. So they check out every post we put out. And yeah, they've been amazing about it. And they're willing to learn so much more about today. And yeah, I think that's great.
That's amazing. Great to hear that you have so much support and such an enthusiastic dad who's following the Instagram profile and everything. Shivangi, can you tell us how your family has supported you in this?
Yeah, so my parents have been pretty supportive, but I'd like to talk about my sister. She was very, very inspired by this cause, and it actually motivated her to start her own Girl Up Club. Or should I say, she plans to start her own Girl Up Club in the future. And she's totally awed, and she so passionately believes in the cause that we're trying to advocate for. And she's been a constant help and support, and she agrees to help out with my tasks, be present at webinars, and just takes a lot of interest in the overall way we function and do things.
How old is your sister?
She's 13 right now.
Oh, wow. So you truly have caused a change. You have inspired people. You have inspired your sister to start her own club, and that's how it's like a domino effect, right? She will
Definitely.
inspire many more people, and it's awesome.
Yeah, she's spoken to her friends about it, and all of them are very, very passionate. And it's so like fulfilling to see these young girls. And at the slightest hint of injustice, they will raise their voice, regardless of the circumstance, whether they're in class in the principal's room. No, we have to be treated equally everywhere, and it's very fulfilling to see that.
That's great. And yeah, I think I've seen even my sister who's in fourth grade right now, she's 10. Even she, is really vocal about things which she sees, especially in her class or anything. And I think the younger generation in general, they are more assertive and they are more vocal. And in general, they are louder when it comes to talking about these things. And I think that is just amazing. So, Ananya, how has your family supported you in this?
Love hearing about both your sisters. That's so cool. When I was their age, I would have never had the courage to speak up to anyone of authority because my school mattered to me so much. Like, oh, I have to be at the top. I can't call out anyone. So that's so cool. Okay. My sister is amazing. She, like, every little thing that I'll be doing, she'll look at it and she'll say, "Oh, you should do that, or you should do this." And I feel like she's kind of part of the club, but not part of the club. So that's really cool, and she loves everything that we're doing. My mom is super, super supportive, and I feel like, she's also learning so much about what we're doing. And my mom knows a lot of people, so a lot of people that we've reached out to with, like, my mom has helped me with contacts and stuff. But being realistic, as an 11th grade science student, my mom did occasionally tell me, "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm doing GirlUp." "Oh, stop that, you have to study, you're always doing GirlUp." But I mean, she's been super supportive with it, so it's been amazing.
It's so amazing to hear how all of your families have supported you and you're just so passionate about it. I can see it in each and every one of you, the raw passion that flows through. It's so inspirational. How is Girl Up helping to make the future you guys mentioned the reality? Let's start with Shivangi.
All right. Two things. I've mentioned this repeatedly, but I think it's very important, so I'm going to say it again. Um, Firstly, we involve young kids. Girl Up is typically a high school initiative, which means that we're involving kids at a very tender young age. I mean, I wouldn't call us young, but like we're still starting early and we're identifying a cause in society. I think that's a unique benefit of Girl Unity. We start young. So, what does this do? This helps us grow as a generation that is more woke, that's more aware. We won't be exploited as easily. We have a voice and we're going to use it in the future. So, the fact that Girl Up is a high school initiative is a way I feel we're bringing about change in the future. Secondly, which directly attacks problems in status quo, we recognize something is wrong and we're also doing something towards it. I think everything that was spoken about today in this webinar on some level points to just one cause of us being heard and being given an equal space in society. And we do this through a variety of ways, like we've already mentioned, like content on our Instagram page, webinars, lives, inviting guest speakers, having people, influential people talk on public forums to influence young students. I feel, yep, advocacy awareness is where we're actually trying to uh, dive deep into, because we feel that once we are all aware, it's up to you to make the right decision. And we do believe that most people in status quo, when once they're aware of all the facts, will make the right decision. Two unique benefits of what we're doing is we're starting young and we're actively targeting the problem.
So, Saina, how do you feel Girl Up Unnati will create this future that you envision?
Yeah, so GirlUp Unnathi, like Shivangi said, targets the younger audience. So obviously super beneficial to them and to us. We're learning so much. We're learning as much as we give. And I think that's the whole point of the club. And GirlUp, not just Unnathi, but GirlUp is so widespread. And obviously the more girls, the more awareness, and the more they will spread, and the more their friends will spread. It's just a chain reaction. Like you said, the domino effect, just that. So I think awareness is the most important thing that we are doing right now, spreading awareness on the feminist movement and everything that circles that, and again targeting the younger audience and then educating them, and then uh, like it's just, I don't know, it's just fulfilling to have that kind of sense of pride that you are doing something for the society and you're giving back. And yeah, that's about it. I think Shivani said everything already, so she covered everything.
Janvi, can you tell us about how Girl Up is going to impact the future and going to be a part of the change that you envision?
I think I'm supposed to mention this. Unnati basically means progress or advancement. It's embedded in the name itself. So we want, as both of them already stated, we wanted to raise awareness about various problems faced by women in society, and also support many causes and partner up with different organizations and help a lot of people in the process.
Adya, can you tell us about how do you think Girl Up is going to create the change that you envision?
Like everyone spoke about, GirlUp Unnathi is working towards a progressive society, and it feels good to play your part in the feminist movement. Uh, and something that I really thought I should bring up is that all of our meetings are very inclusive and accepting spaces, and there's no judgment around, and we discuss topics that are taboos, like, and we bring about mental health a lot, which I feel like is very important. Every session, Ananya or someone else checks on how the rest of the team is doing, so we're always prioritized. And yeah, and I think that's very important, and it's a good initiative taken.
So, Ananya, can you tell us about how Girl Up is going to change the future?
So a major thing that we try to do is within the club itself spread awareness, because I mean we're all not experts. Just because we're girl up leaders, we don't know as much as there is to feminism or gender equality as that. We don't know that much. So I remember, I think one of our first like club activities within the club for members of the club was having this sort of like a brainstorm session. So, we asked all the members to kind of put in words that they associate with feminism and gender equality. And we put it into like a word cloud, and we discussed those. And I think, just discussing it with people with your friends, with your family, is something super important. And like Shivangi said, like everyone said, it'll aid a lot to the spreading awareness part of the feminist movement. So that was one thing that we did that I thought was really cool. So we do such things, we do small activities within the club. We had this song rewrite activity a couple of weeks ago, I think last week, where we asked members to think of songs with problematic lyrics, with non-inclusive lyrics, and rewrite the songs and change their meaning so that they're more relevant, more inclusive, and they don't put down any community in any way. So, small things like that. And we also have bigger events where we, make it open to everyone, and we have little talks with people and just talk about things. We're looking to do a lot bigger offline events now that, the pandemic situation is a little better. So, yeah, stay tuned. We'll be doing a lot of stuff in the coming months.
Sounds really exciting. And as you said, yeah, none of us are experts in this topic. And I saw a quote which is really relevant to this. So, as you were saying, we all have a lot to learn, and we're all on a constant journey of learning. And this quote is really appealing to me. The uncomfortable truth is that we're all biased, dependent on our circumstances and environment, and to believe otherwise is to be foolish. What we need to do is own that bias, not accept it, be willing to have uncomfortable conversations, learn, be wrong, grow, evolve, and make space for every mistake that we and others make to be an opportunity to learn. So, this was quoted by Carolyn Casey, who's an award winning social entrepreneur and visionary activist. And I think this is just so profound. And it talks about how everyone has some inherent biases, and we all need to continuously work towards reducing that to the extent that we have lesser and lesser biases. Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
I just wanted to say that I totally agree with that. I think it's something that we don't really acknowledge, that we keep saying that, oh, I'm all for equality, but you will always have small little things that you think are right, even though it's not totally equal. And it's okay to be wrong, like the quote said, and it's you should be wrong so then you can learn. Yeah, so I think it's a very good quote. I love it.
And that's what you guys are doing, that you guys are giving everyone a safe space and non-judgmental space so that everyone can discuss and talk about what they think, and if they are wrong they can be educated about why it is wrong in the kindest possible way, with compassion and no judgment. And it's an amazing thing that you guys are doing, really commendable. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
I'd just like to add on that we're talking a lot about stuff that's wrong with how women are treated, but we also have to recognize that the reason this is happening is because previous generations were conditioned this is the case. So this is not someone's explicit fault, and we're not trying to outcast and target a particular group of people who might not be feminists today. We're just trying to we understand that there are circumstances that led to these beliefs in people, and we're just trying to make people aware of what things ideally should be like, but we aren't vengeful or aggressive in any way, shape, or form. We understand that people have beliefs for different reasons. It might just be because of the way that they have been brought up. We're trying to change that perception through by doing a variety of small things. Just wanted to add that in case this whole session sounded a little too passive aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, we also acknowledge the fact that it is not just women who are treated unequally. There are men and people of all other genders are also treated in a biased manner, and they also experience biases. We definitely acknowledge that. And this being a women's International Women's Day special episode, we were and the club being Girl Up Club, which is advocating for equality of women and their rights, we were focusing on these issues solely. So thank you so much for being a part of this session. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I learned a lot, and it was really fun and really interesting to get the perspective of so many women. And I also want to say that the people here today with us, they are few of the representatives of Girl Up. There are 11 people in their core committee and over 30 people in the GirlUp Unnathi club. And I would encourage each and every one of you viewing this on YouTube or listening to it on our podcast to check out their Instagram page, which will be linked below and in the show notes in case of the podcast. And see if we can increase the number of club members to much more than 30 and see how quickly we can reach 100 people. Thank you so much, guys. It was a pleasure having all of you, and thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you so much for having us. I think all of us
Thank you.
enjoyed. I think all of us just enjoy sitting and like talking about this stuff. Like it's just fun. And thank you so much for this opportunity. We'd love it if you join us at GirlUp Unnathi. We're doing a lot of work, and I hope some of it interests you. And we hope that you join our team one day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having us.
you.
I thoroughly enjoyed
Thank you
it.
for having us.
Thank you.